Well, thank you. It's a great honour for the PRI to be one of the partners of the Climate Finance Day and to work with other investor groups on mobilising investor action. And it's great to actually see so many of the PRI signatories in the audience as well, and to see them making announcements throughout the day. We're all really here because we're committed to taking action on climate change. And as we've heard, investors have a fundamental role to play in the transition from a high carbon to a low carbon economy, and to investing in the new energy, infrastructure and technologies that the world will need to make this transition. Investors also have a responsibility to engage with companies. As universal and long-term asset owners, ensuring that companies are adapting to climate change is really an important and fundamental part of an investor's basic fiduciary duty. And whilst the divestment debate has been the focus of many of the headlines around the world, many investors have been doing other things, and they've been getting on with the serious task of mobilising finance and working together to tackle what is the defining issue of our era. Yet there is really so much more that we all need to do. So it's a pleasure to be able to showcase one of the initiatives to mobilise that shift of capital, the Investor Platform for Climate Action. The platform is a collaboration of institutional investors around the world through 7 investor groups and initiatives, and they include UNEP-FI, IIGCC in Europe, Series INCR in the United States, IGCC Australasia, CDP, AIGCC in Asia, and my own organisation, the Principles for Responsible Investment. And it was formed in response to the need to talk to policymakers, to talk to beneficiaries and the investment industry about climate actions. It's a tool really to educate and we hope inspire others to take steps to address climate risks. The platform clearly shows how investors are engaged in the low carbon transition and that they can act, and they can act in a number of ways. And we've heard today that it isn't all a one-size-fits-all approach that investors need to take. So the actions that you'll see on this platform include investors who are measuring their exposure to emissions through signing up for things like the Montreal Carbon Pledge. And it was fantastic to hear the French Minister this morning talk about the need now for French investors to measure and disclose their carbon footprint, and that will really push along the Montreal Carbon Pledge. Investors are also actively engaging, as I said, with companies, including through collaborative engagements, many which are taking place by the groups that have initiated this platform. They're also reallocating from emissions-intensive companies via the Portfolio Decarbonisation Coalition, and they're investing in low-carbon vehicles, and this can be shown on the Low Carbon Investment Registry, which is also part of this platform. And they're undertaking a range of reinforcing initiatives on government policy, and these include calling for a price on carbon, support for clean energy options, and the removal of subsidies on fossil fuels. So let me just show you briefly what I'm talking about. The website is the investorsonclimatechange.org, which I hope you will all go to. It's also out in the exhibition hall, so you can go and have a look at all of the commitments and actions that are taking place through this platform. There's over 400 investors who are involved, and they come across 30 countries, and they represent more than 25 trillion in participating assets under management, which is a staggering amount, but we still need more. And there's 17 initiatives that are showcased on the registry and throughout the platform. And so by participating in the initiatives on the platform, investors are signalling their intent to be part of the low carbon economy and to address climate risk. And while the platform presents a pretty impressive story about investor activity, we don't claim that we're able to actually solve these problems on our own. Investors can't invest against the grain of government policy. Transparent, long-term, predictable policy signals are still needed to reinforce the activities and encourage markets to go even further. And they're a key part of the platform. And again, what I really encourage you to look at a number of the letters and the statements that have been put out to really try to encourage world governments to take action on these issues. As I said earlier, the divestment campaign has raised really many important questions, and it's been a good way to highlight that people are concerned about climate action. But it hasn't really provided all of the answers. A broader range of investor responses is both evident and it's necessary to address the problems of emissions-intensive energy supply and growing energy demand in emerging companies. And the platform and the initiatives it showcases demonstrates how investors are contributing to addressing these issues. So just in conclusion, we expect that by establishing this platform, investors will be encouraged to be more public about their climate risk activities, which is really important because that then means others start to take action. If they can see, we need the leaders and then we need others to see that they can do this as well, and we need people to show the way, and there's been some great examples of that here today. So really, to the investors in the room, please view the platform and contribute what your activities are. We need many more of you taking action. And if nothing else, you can join in some of the initiatives that are already there. Again, they're looking for more people to be involved in those initiatives as well. And to the policymakers and companies here today, please take note of the momentum in the investment community on climate action and incorporate it into your thinking about your own activities. Again, to companies, investors are paying attention and they're wanting to see the companies that they invest in taking the right steps to address climate risks. And we're taking action, and we really want everyone else to take action as well. So thank you, and please look at the platform, include your activities in it, be inspired, I hope, by some of the things that investors are doing, and get others involved, because we need many more of you. Thank you.